with another guest for our talk show through the lens of civil engineer. This is the second season, and today is a special episode where we are hosting Mr. Vashish Trivedi, who is a transportation engineer having a varied experience at companies like Archides, Translink, and now with DAR. He has been instrumental in several of these projects in infrastructure, especially highways, bridges, etc. And today we would deep dive, understand his journey from a BTech grad to going into specialization, like in transportation, how it came up to him, and also would navigate and understand how his career in, let's say, 6 8 years of his experience, how the growth has been, what are the things that he has done, especially for someone who is listening today, typically having an experience early junior management level or freshers, 2 years have 2 4 years experience, and how they can learn from his experience. He's also a very active blogger on civil things. He keeps on writing across his LinkedIn, and we are really glad to host you, Vashishta. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much, Vishwajit, for introduction. Hi everyone.
Great.
I did
Thank
certain
you.
projects in highway as well as bridges as well. My career journey started in 2018 with almonds. Apart from starting of my professional career, I did certain internships in while I was pursuing bachelor's, as it is part of our project work to pursue, to gain industrial knowledge. In order to gain their such knowledge, I joined one laboratory. I did my project over there, which was on soil stabilization. Geotechnical engineering, material engineering things were covered over there. Also, I did an internship in bridge construction project. So luckily, I got a job in Almonds, where my career began as a highway engineer. In highway engineering field, it is a there are so many things which are connected. Like in highway engineering, structural engineer plays a key role. Like if the road goes, it is obvious that there are certain natural streams, rivers were passing. So bridge construction comes over there. Also, there are certain valleys and hills. Over there also structure plays key role. Also, where traffic congestion is there, we must need to do some grade separated. Must need to construct some grade separated structures and all. Over there also structure plays a key role. So basically, our field was covered with so many traits like structure, geotechnical, hydrological. Like if it is a river bridge, obviously there must be a person who did certain calculation, hydrological calculation based on their survey data, based on their what kind of maps they are having, what kind of calculations are demanded, and what is the result of their calculation, like height
Okay.
is economical or not. If it is not, then what are the solutions of it? Because as an engineer, it's not just our duty to see the formulas and do the solutions. Our duty is to make it economical and safe, both. To cover up that, we have to work. So what kind of calculation they did, we focus on that. Based on those things, we do highway designs. Highway design is also a key thing in safety of road users. Like road is not just a thing that people transfer. People's
Yeah.
emotion transferred. There are certain goods and everything gets supplied and transferred through roads only. So it is our job to make it very comfortable and safe for the people. For that, we do
Good.
certain calculation by considering some criteria like horizontal and vertical design, like what are the safety measures we need to provide, what are the challenges, like if structure is higher, then how we have to adjust our profile so that person can see the things and their driving operations. So these are the key things which I learned through several years of experience. When I was fresher, I was so lucky that I was given the task in a broken down manner. Like I did some site visits, like to gain some site-based knowledge, because we travel on a road as a person, road user, and as an engineer is totally different. Like there are four numbers of even colors of kilometer stones. Like why those are colored in a different way? It is also an engineering thing. While I was I did site visits, then there also I did figure out that okay, these types of color are based on their road classification, like state highways, national highways. What we need to see in that kilometer stone. Kilometer stone has some of the one face which is directed towards the like origin and destination is mentioned, but the side face mentions its chainage. So it is our part of work. Like we need to, while we do site visit, we need to see that chainage, and based on that chainage and our judgment, we decide that this many length is there. Like based on coordinates, surveys, like that, we figured out like this is how road works. So it is
Okay,
not
got
just
it.
one perspective that road user must see. Engineering perspective is totally different from the road user perspective.
Right, sir. Right. So now we'll go step by step in understanding. In one question that when we anyone comes across your profile, the stages, the companies that you have grown in last 6, 7 years, 8 years, 6 years rather, would be you started from somewhere and now you have come to a brand. A lot of people when they work, they have an aspiration to work in MNCs or projects that are beyond the regular things that we do. How did you carve out your journey to reach to those kind of companies? What was your strategy to reaching to companies like Dar or currently that you are in, or maybe Archidis where you were part of as prior to this? What has been your entire strategy to go into these kind of companies? The question is typically for those people who are stuck 5 years in a mid-sized company, small subcontractor level companies. Even they are working in NHI, good companies under that subcontractor. Then again, tertiary contractor. So how they should be doing?
Agreed. See, first of all, my first company, which was Almonds, which is currently doing operations from Delhi office. So Gujarat office got closed. The thing which happened to me was like I have had certain level of experience, like 2 years of experience I had over there. I learned like how everything works. Like I observed every senior, like what they work. Because see, no one is going to come and tell you that you follow this step and you will be successful. You need to be a very good observant. So you need to observe the thing like how your seniors are working. Then you have to figure out that okay, this task is given to me. I like this task. Also, I enjoy this, and I am keen to know in this, more about this task. So you, based on your curiosity, you will drive yourself to observe the people who are already there and performing the well. So I observed them, I learned from them, I heard them. Later on, I figured out that, see, while our company got closed, I was forced to give resignation. Even though I did my best, I performed every hour of every minute, even my birthdays and everything I gave. But at that time, I felt that there is no emotion in workspace. So it is very important to know that you must have to be practical, not emotional. So practically, you need to figure out that okay, this company has this many people. In this company, I am receiving this kind of work. What would be my future 5 years later? If you find any red flag, it is very important to leave a company, because at that time, what you will do is wasting your time as well as company's time. It's better to focus on your goal in a company where when once you accomplish your goal, company's goal will automatically get accomplished. So
Okay.
it is very important to prepare a mindset that you need to leave from this company. And when you leave this company, what would be your condition? If you just think like that, you will get all answer. Like one will get easily get answered like from 1.5 1.5 year. I did not receive any good project. I think I need to leave. Or I ask to boss like to get a better position and give more tasks to enhance his one's career, because see, no one is going, no one are your, no one is your parent. So you have to decide that okay, I have given this task. Years later, I learned this many things. Where would I be if company will tell me next day, tomorrow, that okay, we don't need your help. You can please
Okay.
leave. At that time, what will you do? You just need to figure out that everything will taken care of. Apart from that, you also need to maintain a good rapport. You have to be good with every industrial colleagues, because everyone are interconnected at any company. If you go some at different company, they will easily call that your boss that how was that guy, what did they do? They do background verifications. So you
Yeah.
have to maintain a good image. You have to be a good worker, but you have to keep in mind your goal as well. Like, what would I do to enhance my career? Everything will take
Sure.
care. Like
Got it.
you,
So,
like I
coming to how did you sir, sorry to interrupt. How did you apply to these? Like, what has been your mantra to apply to several of these companies and get through? Like, how has been your experience cracking Archides or DAR in terms
see,
of
when I was
interviews
working
or?
in transport, by grace of God, like bosses and everyone are so good that I learned so many things like in a short span that some of the other people cover those things in even span of 5 years. Like our bosses were so good that they gave us opportunity to thrive. Later on, my curiosity gained in a way that I need to explore this in our country. I explored, but I wanted to explore like across the globe, like how they do operations and all. So based on
Okay.
that curiosity, I learned Civil 3D software while I was working in Translink. In Arcades, there was a vacancy. I went there, but there I learned so many things over there. Like it was a short span, but like region I went into a wrong team. So the team was like that, like they were not getting proper highway design works. Their works were like property roads and all. So again, at that time also I thought, if I stay here after 2 years, I am having this big highway projects experience. If I stay over here after 2 years and do the same property access roads, my CV will get damaged. Immediately I found those red flags. Even my bosses were so good that they also advised me that as a friend we are suggesting, if you have dream like this, you should switch. So I went to DAR. It luckily by grace of God, it's a very good company where my vision meets. Like the vision which I thought while I was working in Translink, that I want to work on a like other countries how they work. Like it's a 10 lane roads over there are so many interchanges in like Saudi. I am working in Saudi Riyadh city, so there are so many interchanges and all. So I'm very happy to work over here. So it is very important to find red flags and take the decisions. Like see, you have to be clear in your mind that if you will go from one company, the company will not get closed. Company will go and company will thrive. It is very important to you to get thrival of your growth.
Okay, so now great insight about figuring out that what is right, what is wrong in a short and also longer run of the game. That you have been able to red flags and kind of that. Now, any process that you remember in terms of interview, or how are interview flows in Archides or DAR in terms of like, is that a PI round? How many rounds? If you can elaborate, people who are applying, they can get an idea.
For arcades, there are three numbers of interviews. In first interview would be like one technical person and one super senior person would be there. They will ask you some of technical questions. They'll judge you like what based on your experience. You must be have to have certain challenges and difficulties faced. if you have faced them, you can elaborate them. One project you have to elaborate, and they judge you your technical skills, like your judgmental skills. Round two would be tool test. Over there, you will be judged for AutoCAD and Civil 3D proficiencies. Like there will be small stretch which is given. You have to do A to Z level of process, like from layout plan to typical cross section till plan profile generation and detailed cross section extraction. You have to perform that task in a 2 to 3 hours of span. Round three would be one international person who will be sitting over like the region where you will work. Like suppose my region was Belgium, there was a guy who was working in Belgium. He took my interview. He will also judge you the way round one was there. He'll explain you that this kind of projects we do. This your job role would be like that and all.
Okay, got it, got it.
And
Great,
that
great.
for that, like there was only one round. So, sir, judge me based on my technical answers. They'll just tell you that, see, elaborate your project which you did. You have to elaborate in a way that all the technicalities get covered. And they will figure out that, okay, this guy is having this much potential and they can proceed with that.
Got it. Got it. Great. Great. This is much help. Now coming the simulations of projects, like when you work in MNC level projects, there are a lot of simulations that you do prior to doing projects and all. So in terms of also drainage calculations, how, because cities are changing with a lot of the capacity, because everything that you do has to be futuristic in terms of the capacity, and also everything that is going to be developed around it also. Maybe the roads that you're developing right now might be in a very less crowded area, and tomorrow things would be very higher end. So how do you do simulations? What are the softwares that we use, and are there any specific considerations that you do on simulations before you do the projects on the real case basis?
See, the softwares which are being used by us is like earlier it was MX Road for road design. Now these days it is Civil 3D and Open Roads designs. But I use Civil 3D. In Civil 3D, there are certain add-ins like AutoTurn for simulation, basically for simulation. Navisworks for to to like to project the things in a way that you can see and imagine, like, oh, this is how it will look. So basically, for rendering purpose, Navisworks is getting used to identify gas detections and all. See, road is getting designed. Apart from that, there are so many trades are involved, like electric trade, landscaping trade. So though they need to figure out like where it is getting clash. Like it is possible that the light pole is located in a location where there is a manhole. So those clashes and all they figure out through Navisworks software. So those are basically like sub branches of Civil 3D. Main key software is Civil 3D. In Civil 3D only there is AutoCAD also getting covered. So this is how we use for simulation and rendering code. Like AutoTurn I use for simulation purpose. Like the road which I have designed is sufficient or to take operation of this length of vehicle, this width of vehicle, based on this speed, the radius is sufficient or not. To figure out that, I use AutoTurn software.
Got it. Got it. Coming to this question I ask generally in these shows is, you did your bachelor's, and I think post that you shifted to transportation. What inscribed you to choose this instead of buildings, instead of maybe metro? I don't know, like any other sector for say, or for say in what made you choose roads, or it was a choice, that first job and etc. How has been the journey to choose this
No, no, it
career?
was not like that. Yeah, sure. I'll put more light. As I mentioned, in like while I was pursuing, I was so like blessed that there are so many industry people who are in my contact. So my uncle was there. He's a builder. So I went to construction sites as well. So I figured out, okay, building parts, like construction activities, I'm not curious to do. So I figured out that, okay, this is not for me. Later on, I went to do an internship of a bridge project. So bridge project I saw, inspection part was very good over there. So I thought that, okay, this is the good because everything is getting covered as well as I am getting exposure of site as well. So yeah, that clicked me. Later on, I did a internship in a laboratory. Over there, I did so many construction material, soil, and every test. So that made me realize that, okay, roads. This is how roads works. Later on, my uncle was in a highway engineering field. He asked me certain questions like what is getting covered, like what and all. So I was failed in that question answer task. So he thought that, okay, if you are good, if you are interested to know more, you can do this job like that. So he asked me to join, like, you can join and you can learn. So he became my guru since then. So he
Okay.
like like that clicked, like this is how, okay, now I want to pursue in this field. Because design field is the field where we cover everything, because in construction it is all execution of the drawing, but how drawing is getting created, it was my curiosity. So that's how I went to the design field.
Great, great. Any parting remarks or advices that you want to? Because a lot of what I understand is first thing from you. If I can summarize, is that you have been majorly a person who believed in the SWOT analysis. You have always did your analysis that okay, what is going to be right for you, what is not right, wrong, and very clear. There is no gray area. Either it's yes or is it a no. First thing is on that what I can conclude from you. The second thing that I can conclude is that you have been very open to network and let people know that if I see even your LinkedIn, it is very well articulated. Some of the projects is already shown across the articles that you have written across. So a lot of people are hesitant in terms of networking, reaching out of people, or in construction. So, anything on that line that you want to suggest to young engineers who have just started or just 2 years, 3 years into this sector, and any parting remarks that you have for them?
First part, I would like to put light over the communication thing. See, when our fathers were working, it was like a indus, like it was a industrial age. So the amount of hard work you do, the amount of reward you get. At that time, it was like that. This time, it is an information age. So the amount of contacts you have, you can generate n numbers of opportunities. So never get hesitant to create a network. To create a network, you need to figure out what one is seeking, what are the strengths of that person, and what you can gain and learn from them, and likewise you can give to them. Based on those things, you can create your network. Like it's a all just a game of communication. You must need to like be a good communicator. Let's leave typing and all things. You must be very good to as a verbal communicator. You must have to be very good. Apart
Yep.
from that, you like it is a very individual thing. Like, see, I was gaining knowledge because I was curious. Like
Okay.
I I did some deals with government bodies and all. So it was part of my curiosity only that okay, I need to have a discussion with the authority engineers, like what they think, how they think, what are their requirements, what could be the solution which I can give. So those are individualistic thing. Like one cannot do such a way that okay, this is how it can be done. Everything is driven by curiosity only. So I would say that communication part is very important. So one learns, earlier he can grow.
Correct, correct. So, Yeah. So any
And one
future
more
plans?
thing,
How do you, how? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Like
yeah.
be brave. See, there is a thing. How much you learn, whatever you learn, there must be n numbers of things which you did not. Likewise, how much other person has learned, there must be certain things that he also did not learn. So it is not a thing that you have to get afraid of someone. What would be the worst situation? He will insult you. That's it. You will go even in that insult. You will grow. So don't get afraid of anyone to talk. Be an extrovert.
Got it. Got it. Really, really great. It was a great time connecting with you. I'm really the one thing that stays with me even after this interview is that the clarity, the SWOT analysis that you have done in your career, what needs to be eliminated first, then I decide what I have to do. That's the first thing, and I think the major thing that I come across. Glad to have you, Mr. Vashish, to join this show with us, and I am really thankful that you were kind enough to share across your interview tips also, and a lot of people who are watching us today and through the video to the times ahead also, they would be getting a lot of benefit, and I'm really thankful again.
Thank
Thank you.
you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. Actually, it's a great thing for me that I can give some tips to others. Like it is the great thing, like for me that something is great happening by me. So it is good.
Yes, sir. Certainly, sir. We'd love to reconnect with you in terms in case
Sure.
you would love to share a